Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Ben Olson, that's Nathan Fox. We're the founders of lsatdemon.com and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. Sim writes in, repeat questions.
Hi, Ben and Nathan! Exclamation point. I've been watching your podcasts and using LSAT Demon for a few months now, but I've been studying for the test itself for almost a year. I've recently run into the problem where questions are familiar when drilling or taking practice tests. This has led me to get what I would assume are higher scores on the PTs than I would get on the actual test. Do you have any advice or recommendations on how to study with repeated questions? Thank you so much for your help. Best, Sim.
Okay, a couple things to keep in mind. One, when you create a LSAT Demon account, all the tests that are within your plan are separated into two buckets. One is for drilling and one is for practice tests. So when you drill questions, you shouldn't end up seeing them on your practice tests, so they shouldn't affect your practice test scores. That said, you can customize that. So sometimes people end up doing questions in drilling and then putting them over into practice tests, or putting over those tests into practice tests, and then they can start seeing some of those questions when they take practice tests. If that is happening to you, there again is one of two possibilities. One, you're actually seeing a question that you did before, or two, you're getting better at the test. A lot of questions are very similar. They cover very similar topics.
Yeah.
They test the same underlying logical concepts. And so you might think it seems familiar, where in reality, it's just a new question.
We were just recording the Thinking LSAT podcast, and we had a question that we know is brand new because it was written by our team, right? It was one of those test D questions. And it still felt super familiar. It's like, oh, well, we must have seen this before. Ben predicted the conclusion of the argument while reading it because just the test just repeats itself. It's just how it is. You're just like learning these patterns. There's another reason why people can think that they're getting repeat questions even when they're not, which is that on the older tests, there were these questions in logical reasoning that had one passage and then two questions about the passage. So you might not even realize it, but you might have done the other question with the same passage. And now you're reading another question that uses the same passage and asks a different question. Last thing I would say is just the point is always to solve the question correctly. And if you remember it a little bit, that's fine. Solve it correctly. Shouldn't take you too long. Move on and do another one. Like, why are we worried about this? On the other hand, if you miss it or if you struggle with it, then it becomes very obvious that you maybe didn't review it enough in the first place when you missed it previously, right? You didn't actually learn anything from your mistake.
Yeah.
I think the people who most commonly have this issue of repeat tests or running out of tests or running out of questions or whatever are students who aren't really digging deeply enough into their review. That's how you run out of questions.
Sure.
But you can always get a second chance. And, when you're doing practice tests, are you getting 180 after 180 after 180? If not, then those practice tests have something to teach you, even if they don't have a super good diagnostic value.
Exactly. So you might, let's say you actually have seen some of those questions before and you're redoing them and you do better on them because you've seen them before. Okay. So your 165 might actually be closer to a 162. That doesn't matter. You still got a 165. There's plenty to learn from that test.
Oh, yeah.
Do that.
Yeah. I just said the
focus on
diagnostic
learning.
value isn't as high, but the diagnostic value is still extremely high
Mm-hmm.
in each one of the questions you missed or each one of the
Yeah.
questions you struggled with. That's the test telling you, hey, here's the stuff you need to work on. So whenever it's true. Maybe you discount your practice test scores by a few points. Who cares? The bigger point is, are you reviewing your mistakes thoroughly? Are you learning the maximum from every mistake?
Yes. And that also gets back to our broader point, which is you shouldn't obsess about practice test scores. Like there's such a high, it's a general number that can swing. What's more important is the questions, the accuracy you got on the questions you attempted.
Yeah. I believe that with our new rubric for how we divide the tests,
Yes.
odd numbered are in drilling, and the even number is in tests and sections. Is that right?
That's exactly right. So lettered tests and odd tests are in drilling and in classes. So if you attend a
Got it.
class, it's going to be from that pool. Otherwise, it's in the practice pool.
Okay. That most recently released prep test 159, that's the one that has the best chance that someone like Sim has never seen it. And so maybe Sim, if you haven't done so already, you could go in and move 159 into the tests.
Yeah.
But if you come to classes and stuff, you're likely to see that anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sim.
Thanks. Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.